Hello there, welcome into the latest edition of the SAU Baseball Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Gallegos, joined alongside head baseball coach Steve Browning. And Coach, we are to the point of the year, a familiar time of year for you and your baseball team, conference tournament time. But before we dip into the conference tournament and kind of where the team is at going in and previewing that, it's important to take a step back because this past weekend, final weekend of conference play was a crazy weekend. Long story short, Mule Riders sweep, end up as the number one seed in the conference tournament, GAC regular season champions. But there was a lot that had to go into that going into the weekend, not only having to sweep to have a chance at the number one spot and the clinching of the regular season championship, but had to get some help too from a couple other teams in the conference that have been right there at the top throughout the year. And so, we've talked all year long. It's been a very competitive Great American Conference, just regular season. Sweeps are hard to come by, obviously, with teams taking about 2 out of 3 from everybody each weekend and everybody having a shot. So talk a little bit about that craziness, knowing what you had to going in. Was there any, thinking about the outside stuff with what you needed to have help, or was it just focusing on the series against UAM?
Well, really, it was just focusing on UAM. We talked all week about just playing one game at a time. We knew in that situation we didn't control our own destiny, but we also knew that if we didn't take care of the games in front of us, it didn't matter what everybody else did if we let our guard down. So, Lord willing, and fortunately we got a little bit of help, and we did it the hard way. It came down to the last game, but just the resilience of our guys and the fighting and the way they're playing here at the back end of the season, and the fact that the thing I like about it is I think it got settled. I think there'd been a lot of people from the outside looking in that would have questioned if anybody else won it. The fact that we were the only team that got all of our games in and didn't get anything rained out. I think you'd have had a lot of people talking, and I'm just glad for that. Obviously I'm glad for our program, but I'm also just glad we don't have to deal with that. That people well, so and so didn't deserve this or deserve that, and when at the end of the day, you can't control nature, and teams played when they could play, and we were just fortunate enough to get all of our games in. And but it was our first goal. We talked as a team was to go win a regular season championship. Those are hard to come by. Played 30 games. You got to be, when it's all said and done, the regular season champ is considered the best team through the last 30 games, and that's a good body of work right there. And so proud of heck of our guys to do what they need to do to put ourselves in a situation on Sunday to even be able to go take care of business and do that.
So the series started on Saturday. You're playing a UAM team that had high expectations coming into the year. They were one of the teams that battled the weather like everybody did throughout and kind of weren't able to really get going. And so they came in right at 500. They were playing for a berth into the tournament. They had to sweep, so they had a lot that they had to do. So we'll go back to the first game, get onto a lead. They wind up tying it. It's 4-4. Get to the bottom of the 8th, a couple of quick outs, and even Carver Rademacher gets down on the count 1-2. It might have looked like might have been a 1-2-3 inning. The momentum was just with UAM. They had tied it just in the top half. But then he hits a solo home run that pushes you over the top, and then you wind up closing it out. So talk about that game, getting the home run in that clutch spot, closing out the game, and how it propelled into Sunday.
Right. It's huge. We talked to guys about sticking to their approach throughout the entirety of the game and having your best at bats, your last at bat. Because a lot of times that's when you need it. And man, it was fun to watch, and it's a no doubt home run. I think very easily you could see that kind of knocked the wind out of UAM's sail there. They had battled back, tied it up. Like you said, they're going through the meat of our order right there, made it look pretty easy, and then Carver gets off one good swing, and so that there's no doubt. I think that game, by beating them, they knew that they couldn't go to the conference tournament, but. I'm not gonna lie, I was just as scared of them on Sunday than I was Saturday, because sometimes those teams are scary that because their job on Sunday became to be the wrecker. Their job was, and I'm sure their mindset was go beat SAU where they can't win the regular season, and so be the spoiler. And so I was glad. Again, I thought our guys performed well Saturday and bounced back on Sunday, and starting pitching was good all weekend, and Colton coming out on Sunday, giving us getting off to a good start there in game 1, and then Mazo coming out game 2. So it was good to see. It was a good team. Obviously, the whole weekend was a good team win.
So the regular season championship's the third in the 4-year history of the Great American Conference. Last year being the lone exception. Going into the tournament in a familiar spot as the #1 seed in the 6-seed tournament, 6-team tournament. You're taking on Southeastern Oklahoma, a team that, again, going into that last week, and nothing was decided as far as seeding, and still some spots up left to clinch. Southeastern was one of those teams that was playing to get in. They played East Central, took 2 out of 3 for them to put them into the tournament. That was a team that you went on the road to play them, took 2 out of 3 from them. A lopsided game mixed in there, but is there anything you can take away from that series going into this first game, or is it just it's tournament baseball and anything goes?
Man, I don't think those games matter. You know, I really don't. It's you're on a neutral site now. Realistically, everybody's 0-0. The winner of this thing gets an automatic bid to regionals, no matter what your record is, no matter what you've done throughout the course of the year. If you win this tournament, you're automatically going to regionals. And you know, in a situation where you got 6 teams, you know, you're in a conference like this that was as balanced as it was. 1 through 6 can all win it, and you know, you get hot at the right time. So, you know, there's no reflecting back on what we did at our series there. It's, you know what, we got to play the 12 o'clock game. We're the #1 seed, which is great, you know, but we're the one getting up and BP at 9:40 or whatever the case it is, and you know, but that's fine. You know, you get first game, get it out of the way. But you know, Southeast will be ready, and you know, it's like, again, you're the 6th seed, but if you win the ball game, you become the 1 seed. You know, now the bracket's in your favor, and so it's you just got to show up and play each game like it is, and not worry about the next game or anybody else, because when you look past that, you're going to get beat.
We appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's head baseball coach Steve Browning. He and his Mule Riders are set to make the trip back to Enid, Oklahoma for the Great American Conference Tournament. Once again, as the #1 seeded team, they'll be taking on the #6 seed Southeastern Oklahoma. That is obviously going to kick off the tournament on Saturday at noon start. Be sure to check MuleRiderAthletics.com for all your live links. We'll have live stats, live video, and live audio brought to you all on MuleRiderAthletics.com. So be sure to check that if you're not able to make the trek up to Enid. Coach, best of luck.